I glanced at the old man's bank account and saw something that made me pause 2.5 million rupees sitting there. Just out of prison, my mind immediately started running through the possibilities. I began planning, trying to figure out how I could get my hands on that money. When he mentioned going to find his daughter, I offered to take him there. On the way, he stopped to relieve himself, and when he came back, he grabbed me by surprise. It took me a second to realize he had mistaken me for his son again. I decided to play along. I told him I was short on money at the hotel and suggested he withdraw some cash for us. Surprisingly, he handed me the card and even shared the PIN, but the PIN turned out to be wrong. I had no choice but to make him go get the money himself. Then of course he entered the PIN wrong again. Another mistake and the card would be swallowed. I had to let it go for the night. We ended up spending the night on the streets, making do. The next morning, I pulled out my notebook to make him write down some important details, just in case his memory failed again. After breakfast, I stepped out to make a call, but within moments, I realized he was gone. Scanning the street, I spotted him boarding a bus. I ran after him and finally found him on the vehicle, only for him to lapse into another episode. He didn't recognize me and struggled violently. Other passengers started looking at me strangely, suspicious I was abducting him. I stayed calm and told them I was his son, that he had dementia, and that was why he didn't recognize me. To prove it, I handed over the notebook he had written in. A passerby called one of the numbers, and soon my phone rang. That was enough to get him off the bus with me. We continued our journey. Passing through a village, I intentionally ran over a villager's lamb. As expected, they demanded compensation. I claimed I didn't have enough money and told the old man to hand me the card while he stayed behind as a sort of guarantee. Finally, he remembered the PIN, and it worked. But the balance wasn't what I had hoped for, only 8,000 rupees. I withdrew it all, returned to the villagers, and settled the claim. When the old man opened his wallet, I noticed something I hadn't seen before. He had 2 bank cards after all. I couldn't help but think about what else he was hiding while keeping my mind focused on the next step.